All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to React and Chill. On this channel, there's two things I like to do: sit on my butt and talk about music. I'm doing that right now. Talk about Baby Metal from Me to You. Recently, I did a reaction to that with a guest, Brian Little, and I had a good time reacting to it. I thought it was a pretty good song. Overall, I liked it. There was something in the comments section that caught my eye, though. I'm not going to single out the commenter, but it led to a response that was even more interesting. And the response said, like, writing-wise, it's the same as Kingslayer, meaning that From Me to You is the same as Kingslayer, Jordan Fish and MK Metal, but with Poppy instead of Ollie Sykes. Now, I was curious about this. I was like, I want to check this out. I want to check it out. Like, is this really the same? You know, and I agreed with them in the comment section, which you can see, because in my memory of Kingslayer, I was like, I can hear the similarities in my mind with the vocal effects and all that, and the fast-paced drive and the techno stuff. But I was like, is that really true? Are they the same? Well, I played the songs back-to-back, side-by-side, and I have to tell you, there are the results there, and you'll see them. But that video, you won't be able to find on YouTube. I tried to upload it. It got blocked, probably because I was reacting to too much. I don't know. But it's on Patreon. I'm not plugging Patreon to sell you anything. It's actually free. It's free on Patreon. You just have to be a patron. You just have to be a member, a free member, and you can check it out. The link will be down below. You can check it out there. Like I said, it's free. You can check it out. In that video, I play both songs and show what are the similarities, if there are any, and what are the big differences. Okay? And then there we go. Now, if you don't want to check that out, I understand, because it's a different platform. Like I said, it is free. If you want to help support other ways, you can. If you want to be a paid member, you can. You know, there's other things you can check out there. But, all right, if you want to know, the quick answer is not really. There's similarities as far as, like, you know, the metal and the techno effects and all that, and maybe even the effects with the voices, but it is different. Like, if you were to swap Ollie Sykes with Baby Metal and a Poppy for Ollie Sykes, it still would have worked. And I'll tell you why. In Kingslayer, as you know, as you probably remember, it starts off already with a very repetitive, but very repetitive, kind of repeated these notes, and it drives it, though. There's very intense, very fast-paced drive throughout that song, and it starts off with Ollie screaming. You don't get anything similar to that with From Me to You, other than you have these notes that are kind of repetitive and they loop a lot, but it's a different key in different notes altogether. Okay, it's still repetitive, still a lot of kind of hitting the same thing over and over, but it's different key, and that's a pretty big difference there. The other thing is, too, in Kingslayer, the way Ollie does the verse there, the way it's structured is you have the first verse, but then there's like these sections between in the verse where it's like I don't know what you call that as far as song structure wise, but what I know is that it doesn't compare to anything from Me to You, where it's plain and simple. You got a verse, and then you got like a pre-chorus, and even in the pre-chorus, and then you have a chorus there. So let's talk about the structure of the verse there. It already is very different. And in the Kingslayer, Baby Metal doesn't come in until the chorus. Whereas From Me to You, Poppy is there from the pre-chorus and kind of onward. Like, she has a lot more involvement in that song than what Baby Metal has in Kingslayer. And like, Poppy even has her own part in like I think the second verse of that song there. Yeah, in the second verse, it's Poppy and Baby Metal. In fact, in the pre-chorus, it's Poppy and Baby Metal. The chorus is Poppy and Baby Metal. Whereas Bring Me the Horizon Kingslayer, it's kind of like you have your designated places, and they don't really change much. In fact, it almost seems like there's like From Me to You actually sounds more like the Baby Metal and Poppy parts are more connected. There's more of that. It's more of like a back and forth. Whereas Kingslayer, it's more like you have Bring Me the Horizon doing what they do, and then now we're gonna go to the Baby Metal chorus. All right, which is a very fun, catchy chorus. I love that. But that's just the beginning here, In the Kingslayer, the second verse is pretty much Baby Metal. You have and they dominate there. Okay, but in that second verse for Kingslayer, where it's pretty much Baby Metal, Ollie's not coming in there until like a little bit after that. So, like I said, pretty different. Another difference is with Kingslayer, you don't get that like Sue solo bridge moment. You know what I'm saying? Whereas From Me to You, you get that part where Sue's singing kind of like in other songs that they have, where it's pretty much her. It gets a little bit lighter, a little bit floatier and stuff, in tone. You don't get that. That doesn't happen. The other thing is there is they both have breakdowns, but and From Me to You, there's like this one moment. I was going to call it a breakdown, but it happens very quick from like this pre-chorus moment to this chorus moment, and it was like very quick, very, very quick. The song changes very drastically after this second verse and the pre-chorus part, but it happens briefly, and it goes right back into the chorus. That doesn't really happen with Kingslayer. What else? And then you have like the real breakdown where you have like guitar solos going off, and there's a lot of stuff. Like, I guess you could say there are some similarities. Like I said, you can hear them, you can spot them out. You could be like, yeah, there's metal components and techno components in there. There's effects and the voices. There's those similarities there that what they want to play with, but structural wise, there is a difference. It's not just like it's not the exact same. It's far from it. From what I've gathered from comparing both songs. But if you don't believe me, you can compare them together. There's a little bit more. There's even a change in the octave in the chorus for From Me to You, which happens towards the end, which that doesn't even happen in Kingslayer. So pretty big difference. There's even a difference in the beat per minute, whereas From Me to You has more beats per minute, according to the AI tool that I use. So right there, and there's even it's in a different key. So pretty big difference there. That's pretty much it. The reason I'm doing this is because it had me curious. So sometimes there's comments out there that are like, oh, I don't know about this. You raised a good question. You intrigued me. I want to know. I want to check this out. I want to see, is it really the same? Is it really the same here? And well, I had to go gather. I had to go look into that. If you want to know more about that, feel free to check it over on Patreon. It's totally free. You can do that. With that said, you guys take it easy and, well, have a good one.